all the way back, baby.
Yeah, and if we say book your hotel, you book your hotel. But my lord, I have soiled myself.
And now, another episode of The Way We HNC It. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very big week in the flag football world. It is World Games Week. International flag is back on the menu. Welcome to the Way We HNC It's preview of those World Games in Chengdu. I am Bez and I will be your host on this journey into the international flag world. And this evening I have a very special guest, a longtime friend of the show, a longtime contributor, and everybody's favourite photographer. It is, to give him his full title, Andy Keith Photo, real life off of Instagram. Andy, welcome. How are things? How are you feeling?
Doing very well. Thank you very much for having me on. It's been a while since I've been on.
It has.
But I can't really think of a better time to come back on and speak about this because, yeah, like you said, international flag is back, but in a massive way. So, yeah, really happy to come back on and talk about it.
Yeah, in a massive way. And partly, I guess it's bias, right? Partly it's our GB bias, and we will make zero apologies for that. If you've gotten this far into our content, you probably realised that we're going to be home team loyal.
Yeah, we're homers, yeah.
We are homers, and that's fine. But I feel like there's a lot more juice in this one than there was even 3 years ago in Birmingham. Just the social media, the media around it, the hype around it, all of the teams seem to have built up massively towards it. So, yeah. We will just chat through how things are going, what we might expect, players to watch out for. And don't forget that you can follow us along predominantly on Instagram, but on Facebook too. And if you really want to get up super early in the morning, we will be there in the broadcast channel chatting through the goings on in Chengdu. We'll see you at 2 a.m. on Thursday morning, I guess.
Yeah.
For the first kickoff.
Not looking forward to that part. Looking forward to everything around it, but that part's going to be interesting.
Yes. Especially looking forward to the fact that with the way the draw has worked, that at least the final game of the groups for Great Britain against Mexico will be at like 8:30 in the morning. So at least I will be up by then. Might have to book myself a little conference room in the office to have an important meeting to that point. But yes, we'll get to that a little bit later on. So Group A, United States, Austria, Canada, and China. Group B, Mexico, Japan, Italy, and Great Britain, taking place in Chengdu. Everything will be live streamed on World Games Live. A link that I think I've typed out now at least 3 dozen times to share. But yeah, make sure that you get on it. And I'm guessing it's a big shift, but we have all the games will be live streamed, and we will have IFAF World Championship Finals commentator Kate Allman will be broadcasting at least, I guess, the medal matches, but she has obviously been all over the world and to broadcast flag football, hailing from Australia. She does a lot around the Australian nationals, and she's class. So looking forward to seeing her back in action and having a kind of a familiar voice on sports. It is always nice when you log on to anything in your broadcast team, or at least who you expect them to be.
Yeah, she was on the sidelines in Finland in those final sort of stadium games. So nice to see that she's still around, making her way up and making her way into the commentary booth. So yeah, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, for sure. And super psyched for her. And to hear her call the games. And obviously, for those of you that are maybe joining the World Games party a little bit late, we have 6 of the top 8 teams in the world in competition, which is very exciting. No, 7 of the top 8.
7, yeah.
7 of the top 8. Yeah, sorry, Italy finished 8th at the World Championships. So 7 of the top 8, with China being the exception for reasons that we've spoken about 4. Unfortunately, Spain are not travelling out, which is a bit of a travesty. But yes, China as the host were automatically assumed a spot. So yeah, in order of world rankings, USA, Mexico, Austria, Japan, Canada, Great Britain, Italy, China. Lots to look.
Lineup.
Quite a lineup, and absolutely stacked, and quite a different lineup to last time. Obviously, the core teams are there, the returning teams, but yeah, first time for Italy, first time for China, first time for the Brits, first time for Canada, he says. Although now maybe his research is going to let him down. But yeah, I guess, Andy, if we started with Group A, what do you think draws your eyes to Group A?
Well, if we start off with the hosts, China, coming in as a complete unknown to all of us, really. They are, I believe, a brand new team. I don't think it's just that they've, not reached World Championship level yet or anything. As far as I can tell from what I've read about them, they're really brand new and have gone through the whole recruitment process and the kind of whole pipeline of fitness tests and all this, all the processes that we're kind of used to, I imagine, quite high level if the rest of kind of Chinese athletics and sport is anything to go by. But being brand new, completely fresh, it's an absolute baptism of fire of them going into Group A with the likes of the USA and Austria and Canada as well. But yeah, I'm really interested to see who they are, what they come up with, because something tells me that they're not just going to they're not going to be a walkover either, despite being brand new. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what they come with.
Yeah, there's an amazing piece on the IFAF website, which is actually where I kind of alongside, I think they're literally just called China Flag Football on Instagram. That's kind of been where they've going. They did like a, like if someone said we're going to do like a tour of GB looking for like new talent, you'd be like, wow, that's a pretty impressive trip. Like that's a lot of resources and stuff. So they did like a QB academy that traveled around China, and it's crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 provinces in China are represented are represented in the team. It is, as you say, the first team, and they come from all kinds of sporting backgrounds, from rugby, the usual rugby, football, track field, but also rather intriguingly karate and wrestling. Previous players in there, and I think there's also something pretty cool around. Yeah, it's a fresh sport, and like people are coming in from all these different sports, but also like being. Like representing China statistically is like probably the most unlikely thing you can do, just about, to be in like the top 12 at any given sport in a country of over 1 billion people.
Yeah, that
by a lottery ticket.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. Making a national squad in China alone says a lot about the athletes that they must be bringing along. So being brand new to the sport is one thing, but like let's not pretend that these aren't going to be 12 athletes that we're seeing on the field here. Like,
without a doubt,
they're going to be a really interesting team, I think.
Yes, and I am at the same time not going to make any barefaced claims about like the scale of the challenge that lies ahead of them.
Absolutely not wise. Yes.
As far as international debuts go, this might be the hardest thing I've ever come across in my life. But obviously, they've played their warm-up match with the British women already. I had a very brief chat with some of the girls in camp following that game, and the prevailing opinion seems to be you would not know that was their debut. Like they are much more well drilled and playing at a higher level than you would expect from a team that have never played international flag before. So even though some of the players haven't been in the sport for super long, I don't think they will be embarrassed.
Yeah.
I really hope they won't. I mean, we've seen at the Worlds that like plenty of teams get embarrassed when the USA show up. That's fine to a point, but I really hope that they are a competitive team. I think they will be looking to use this as a springboard for the Asian Championships later in the year, which they are hosting as well. That's huge, And the way that qualification for the World Championships is going to work, essentially you're looking at winning a medal or you're not going. They're obviously behind in terms of ranking points and seedings, and that will come home and get them. They're likely to be in a group along with Japan, Australia, New Zealand, one of those 3 medal winners from last time. They'll probably be in a group with one of them, and potentially 2 of them, depending on how many teams enter and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be, there's a tough 3 months ahead for them. But it seems
as a
very
spectator,
slick. It seems very professional.
Yeah.
And they are, like I'm sure you're about to say, they bring intrigue to this tournament.
Yeah, I love it. I love this for, the likes of, I guess, for a bystander like us, we're kind of not used to seeing certain matchups, but the likes of, USA will have played Canada many times in Group B. Like, we know that, we'll get to this later, but GB played the likes of Italy a lot of times. When we get into later rounds, obviously, there's the likes of the rivalry between Mexico and USA played each other for countless years now. Bringing in a brand new face that no one has even been able to scout. Yeah, bring it on. That's a great little wrinkle that I think adds just a lot of intrigue to, if nothing else, the first round of these games. So yeah, happy for them to be involved. Massive task ahead of them, as we've said. But yeah, really looking forward to those games and seeing who they are and who they might end up being, with these kind of early rumors of them being, not to be taken lightly straight away.
Yeah, I mean, like, much like I think it was the World Championships last year. I think USA opened with Australia, a team that they'd obviously never played before, and Australia went like 6-0 up on their opening drive. I'd then shipped 40 points or something, but they got.
But that moment was.
But that moment
electric.
There's so many moments that are going to happen here. Like, there's going to be the first game. There's going to be the first touchdown. There's going to be the first pick. There's going to be potentially the first win. There's going to be all of these things that this team are learning and they're going to do together, which is very, very cool. And like, we had Ellie and Grace on last week, and they're talking about how the program is and the tournaments that they're entering are unrecognizable from when they were kind of in the 2000s, in the 2010s, when they were first coming through. And you and I have spoken online about like how amazing it is for those players in GB that have been in this team for so long to now be on the World Games stage. Like, China have all of that to come, and that's really cool for them. And it's unlike it was for some of the kind of the nations and the teams that have trailblazed the sport. They're going to have to do it like on like Instagram, basically. Like, everything is going to be live
display
in 4K HD worldwide. So yeah, I really hope that. I'm sure they're up for it. I'm sure they don't need to be coached into being up for it.
Tournament of historic firsts in front of your home crowd on a stage this massive, that's unheard of. So really,
and you get a crack at the world number one.
Why not?
Because like, what's like there's nothing in that game that can happen that is like bad.
Yeah, right.
For them, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like, look at it this way: if America win 100-0, it's like, okay, first tournament ever against the world number ones, right? Keep it within 20.
Imagine if it's 106.
Right.
Because that six
will be heard around the world.
Unbelievable, yeah.
But like, what I mean, but what if it's within 20? Because then you've got everyone being like, right, okay, so they.
Yeah, hang on.
Like, okay, so we play them next, and they kept the States. They were within a couple of scores. Does that mean like it gets that whole thing going? And you know, like, yeah, I think China being there originally, I was a little bit like, you don't want to see anyone embarrassed on the world stage. With the dribs and drabs that have been coming out, and all the teams have been pretty quiet and very respectful about it. If you take that as gospel, and the teams are, you know, being truthful, and I think they are, I think we have a competitive team here. Are they one of the best 7 teams in the world? Probably not. Right? Probably not.
They'll have a difficult run, that's for sure. But as we're saying, I don't think there's really a losing.
There's a downside for them here.
This is a great chance for them to grow, and yeah, why not do it in a stadium in front of a home crowd?
Yeah,
fantastic opportunity for them.
All of the stuff that you're going to get on board with ahead of hosting the Continentals later in the year. It's fantastic. It's really good, and I'm very, very excited to see how they get on. Yeah, all good. Austria. I'm intrigued by Austria. Because Austria went on a run at the Worlds, an absolute run at the Worlds, and played in what I think might have been one of the best games
Agreed.
of the World Games was that bronze medal match. Now, they didn't win it, obviously, right? They didn't win it, but
440.
how good was that game? Like,
Yeah.
I watched a
Yeah.
bit of it back the other day because I was like, I'm sure that when I was doing my research, trying to work out when the teams had last played each other, I was like, I'm sure that there was an absolute thriller on the final day, and it was in the stadium, so it must have been that one. And I was like, oh, why was it so good? And then I saw the score, and I was like, oh yeah. So I went and watched back like
Yeah.
10 minutes of the second half or something. I was like, this is so good. And I guess we're kind of, we're not locked into a repeat of that, but Austria's run to fourth obviously kept them well in the qualification stage. They knew they were going to be there as soon as they made the semi-finals. But I just think that there's probably some pretty interesting stuff coming out there, and I feel like they're despite being a top 4 team at the World Championships last year, they are quite often kind of overlooked, and I don't really think that's particularly fair.
So they got through in the World Championships last year, they got through their group stage undefeated, I think. And they've been, they've always been around. Like there was a time, I don't know how many years ago, that Austria were like the dominant force in Europe for a long time. And that's never fully gone away. They're always a team that you need to take extremely seriously. 1 point away from bronze is incredible. And that was, going against the USA to end up in the bronze medal match as well. So they're to be taken very seriously throughout, as all of these teams are, of course. That's kind of the beauty of this tournament. But I think there's a few teams in here, and Japan will be part of this as well when we get to speaking to them. The bronze medal has shown how close some of these teams are. And so when we try to separate them when they're already going into this tournament as close as they are, it's just going to take a little bit of like, who's got the extra bit of experience as a team, who's got that one extra play that they didn't use last time, or
magic,
really
new players, new
coaches.
It's thrilling. And like that to touch on, that was a 1 point game, and it was 41-24 against the USA in the semi-finals, of the World Championships. So they're not a million miles away, Austria, and they had some good wins on the way in as well. They had some good wins in the groups. They had some good wins moving through that quarterfinal. They beat Italy 29-26. Like, this whole storyline, the whole seedings, all the groups could be totally different if that goes the other way. Last year, I think they're good. I think we overlook them at our own peril, but at the same time, it's difficult not to when you've got 2 North American powerhouses there. But Austria are ranked higher than Canada. Now, obviously, they didn't get to play each other. I'm not sure if they have ever played each other. We're going to play a game later on, listeners, called Fill in the Blanks for us. As far as we're concerned, we don't think they have played each other before. So let us know if there is something from way back in our worlds gone by. But certainly not in the recent run since 2023. So to me, that game, Austria, Canada in the group, that's a big one.
Yeah, because this is a team, still speaking about Austria, who like we mentioned, they've been around for a long time. I think I don't know how different their team is even going to be this year from last year. Like, same quarterback, same head coach, I'm assuming, same coaching staff. Fourth in the last World Games, still fourth. Like, fourth is nothing to be shy about. That's
not at all
huge. So again, is it going to be that? Oh no, is it not? Is it not same head coach? Maybe I'm thinking that wrong. I can't remember. The same head coach from last year. They don't have as much change as some of the teams do in the World Games this year. But is it going to be that extra bit of experience that tips them over the edge when they come against the likes of Canada, who maybe we'll speak about next, who do have a lot of change? Yeah, really interesting. Always consistent. Just a team, I think a country with great funding, great backing, going to be taken really seriously. Yeah, another great team, as they all will be in this tournament. There's no one to ignore.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just trying to see if I can find. I know that. Yeah, and so I think the hiccup, I think, is probably with Austria is like they were knocked out by France again. France, who went on to a semi-final spot in Limerick. So we kind of lost them early in the knockouts in the last Euros, and then it's like feels like a bounce back at the Worlds, but then obviously the World Games as well, fourth. So it's probably more appropriate to consider that Euros as the outlier rather than the resurgence of Austria as the outlier. And yeah, like I'm really drawn into that Canada team versus this Austria team.
Yeah, Canada are interesting. If we move on to
Yeah,
we're moving on to
Let's do
Canada,
it.
then they really intrigue me because they have a history of, and you see this in the kind of the IFAF preview that they wrote as well, that Canada have in the past typically taken teams that are mostly built up of players from the winning National League team, whereas this year they have gone truly national.
Yes. Yeah.
So how different a team that looks from only last year is really interesting, and what's the quality difference? Because if you're not taking a team of clearly good enough players to make a national team and have at least a little bit of chemistry from playing mostly in a club team, how do they then shift when you've then just gone fully national? We're taking the 12 best. Let's go for it. That's definitely intriguing, and I feel like should be better. Most teams in the world are going to take the 12 best players rather than the best team,
club team, and put them in red.
Which has been a really interesting approach from them. I don't hear of that really anywhere else. So now that they're almost playing, to the same form as everyone else, what does that do for them? Are they now suddenly an unknown team with more power than we expect? Because they were a team who took GB really close.
Well, they came back. I remember that game. They came roaring back in that game. Yeah. They were a couple of scores down and came back. Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
None of us could.
Well, because I was watching that game like on my phone while I was at work because I'm a bad employee, but a great fan. And it was one of those, like, there was a cameras on call just after halftime, and I was like, okay, cool. Yes, we're going all the way. And then I opened it up with like 2 minutes to go, like just inside the 2-minute warning, and I was like, "Oh, what the?" Said some things, and yeah, with my GB hat on, with my bias, ride into battle hat on, I couldn't, like, that was crushing that, and that was a heartbreaking loss for GB. But what that says about that team is, it says a lot, right? Like, that they have that fight back, and then so that's great. Like, that's a good advert maybe for the national champion becomes the national team. But I think if you want people to buy into a national team and a national program, it has to be national. It can't just be, I live in Quebec where the best league is and the best teams are, and I joined one. Like, it has to be, you're really good, you play in Vancouver, fine, let's get you over here. You're great, you play in Montreal, Toronto, Quebec, Ottawa, wherever it is that you play. Right, we're finding the 12 best athletes. And I think, new head coach in Rachel Lassard, 5th in the championships last year, 3rd in the Continentals the year before. They've got to be targeting a medal. I just don't.
Interesting that it says here on that IFAF review that from their last 5 games, it's a win against Spain, a win against Great Britain, a win against Panama, and 2 losses against Mexico. If you're going to pull losses against someone, then Mexico aren't bad, and you're right, they're in the other group. So this is an interesting team.
Oh yeah,
and I'd be really keen to see. I wish I knew more names and just knew from looking at a team sheet like who's who. You would assume that the team from Quebec from last year, a lot of them would be returning, and so did they then start to mimic a little bit of like what we have on the GB squad, where there are a close knit group of players who do come from the best couple of teams in the country. In this case, it would be Quebec. In ours, it's the likes of Coventry. But you want to pepper it in with some athletes from elsewhere and elevate everything. So there's not going to be a bad game in this whole tournament.
No. This might be the advert. This might be it. It's just like, guys, if anyone wants to know what flag football is in a week's time, just like link them World Games live, because I think this is going to be just going to be absolutely class.
Because we're already
extremely
saying,
extremely inconsiderate to be on at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
other than that,
because like that's China, Austria, and Canada that we've spoken about so far, and already we have matchups that I can't like who's winning between Austria and Canada. Rankings would tell you Austria, but do I think that's going to be an easy game? No way.
Yeah, that's going to be close.
That's 5th and 4th from last year, the World Championships, with an element of unknown coming in from Canada. And is it going to be unknown bad because of experience, or unknown good because guess what? Only now, after coming 5th, are we scouting the whole country. Electric scenes already.
Yeah, every game, realistically, in this tournament, barring 1 or 2, could quite simply still be close with 5 minutes to go. Could still be a game with 5 minutes to go, which is awesome. Very excited about that. Top of Group A, the world number ones,
which takes us to
on the subject of almost all games, the world number ones. Since losing the World Games final losing the World Games final in Birmingham in 2022, they have not lost. And I don't think they lost much before that either, because in 2021 they won the World Championships. They are obviously, in terms of American football, surprisingly enough, America are the dominant force to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
however,
a powerhouse of a team.
And thing is,
I went and watched the
documentary
replay because I'm an addict of this silly sport. I watched the final of the last World Games and was stunned to see that there's only 2 returning players on the USA team from back then. So this period of dominance, as you mentioned, 1 loss in years, is not just because it's the same players coming back. They have a program of just repeat success.
And the documentary, I haven't watched, I haven't sat and watched all of it. I haven't watched all of the footage, but just from what, there's not a huge amount of distinction there in terms of production value, but also coaching and athletic work to anything that professional teams put out, be that Premiership Rugby, be that Hard Knocks, be that, in the room for NHL. It's not dissimilar to professional programs, and I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what I don't know how you can knock them off that pedestal when they are that well resourced, that well bought in, when the talent pool is that deep.
Yeah, it's funny that they're so dominant. There's not even much that we could even say about them. They're that good. They are clearly the standard that everyone is trying to reach. They know it. They even hold that as a strange chip on their shoulder of everyone's out to get us and we're going to prove it every time that we're the best.
Yeah,
they're great to watch as well. They're exciting. They're athletic as anyone. And I don't think it's going to be any different this time. They're a fantastic team.
A video posted earlier on where it was practice session 1, and the picture the video they posted was a slow motion from behind Crouch, just throwing a deep corner to Fulford, and it was just the throw was was perfect, the spiral, and it was perfect in stride, bang, and it was just how do you sit on a plane for 18 hours and then
fresh?
I hope the only thing I can say is, I know we spoke about most of the games being close. I hope they're in games. I hope teams can, if they go undefeated in this tournament and they win it, fine. I expect them to, as the best team in the world and the world number ones. I expect them to finish with the incredibly elaborate and fantastic looking gold medals, right? They're the overwhelming favorites. If you had to put your pension on one of them, on one of these 8 teams, they would be the ones you would pick, right? If that is to happen, I hope they're in games. I hope they get a fright somewhere. And if someone has a crack at them, it's like the classic, like, if you're gonna go for the crown, you better not miss. But yeah, they will be the team to keep an eye on. And obviously their run to the world's finals through the knockouts was Spain, Austria, and then Mexico in that final. Will that be a rematch? Let's find out when we take a wander over and have a look at Group B. In terms of ranking, Mexico, Japan, Great Britain, and Italy. Start at the bottom, obviously, Italy in as a late change, still a top 8 team in the world. Still very much expected to do well here, to have a bash and continue this kind of growth that they are on. They were at the World Games last time, obviously, finished 5th. 5th in the Continentals, 8th in the Worlds, both in 2021. Opened up pretty brightly in the Worlds, if I remember correctly, and then lost a quarterfinal match. And from then on in, I think they lost other placing games. Yeah, they must have lost other placing games to get to 8th. But I think in the groups, they've qualified for the quarterfinals. They made it all the way to the quarterfinals, and I think with a new head coach, we're potentially in for some change here from Italy as well.
Yeah, I think they had a difficult group in the Worlds with Mexico and Canada. So Mexico, Canada, Korea, and Denmark. So they perhaps lost some games there and maybe went into a difficult kind of playoff scenario because of that. But also still, 10th in the world, did very well. We've played them as GB. We've played them very regularly. We kind of are kind of familiar with their game. But a great opportunity for them to be involved, to be on the outside looking in, and to suddenly be propelled into the World Games isn't something to be sad about at all. So
not at all. And I think as well, like if you are similar but different to China, like if you are the lowest ranked team in your group, what have you got to lose?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I think they will be looking up and saying, why can we not swing it with Britain, with Japan, and then screw it, have a crack at Mexico? Like, why not? I think Italy are like a dangerous team here. Now, obviously in the format, everyone is going to qualify for the quarterfinals. It'll be, I think it's pretty sure it's A1 versus B4, which means going by our preview so far, if you come last in Group B, you get America.
Right.
So nobody wants that. But I think there's a chance here for them to really continue to grow here and move up the world rankings with a couple of wins here. And they're going to get the prize. I don't think they're going to get the prize points. I don't think they're going to be top 4. A couple of wins, win in the group, a couple of wins in the placement games, moves you up the world rankings, helps with any seedings next year at the World Championships, assuming that Euroflag goes to plan. And it's all about, yes, doing well in this tournament and yes, winning, but it's all about the seedings next year at Worlds, getting out of your group, winning points, looking at Ellie. And just being at the World Games is big because it's an extra, 5 games, 6 games potentially for you to earn points and prize points, as well as compete on this amazing stage that we've got set up for us in Chengdu. And I think Europe, it's hard being like Italy in Europe, both because at this tournament, there's Austria and GB are above you, but I think they're a dark horse here. I think they, especially looking across the other groups come the knockouts next time, like I don't think Italy are going to lose all their games, like by any stretch of the imagination. Where they pick up wins, I don't know. Like,
yeah, I was going to say that's kind of the road that they have is like if you look at Group A, we were talking about how China they kind of have nothing to lose. They're on the outside looking in based on not being around. Italy are the same in Group B, where they are definitely on paper and based on rankings and points and everything, they are the weakest team, and they have a massive uphill battle against Great Britain, Japan, and Mexico. But why not go in with that same attitude of
Agreed.
like, if we can pull a win out here, fantastic. If we can, improve rankings, if we can just go in and give it our all, there's no such thing as an upset here for them.
No chance.
So a great opportunity. Definitely, it could be tough, but yeah, I think being given the opportunity to do this when they didn't get in the conventional way, why not?
Why not? Yeah. Yeah. Like this time last year they weren't there, right? And now they are. So let's do it. And this is similar to some of the other teams that are competing. First year head coach, very exciting. Like, because potentially totally different way of doing things, totally different look, totally different feel, totally different, offense, defense. We spoke with the girls last week about having a new defensive coordinator in Markey has completely changed maybe how GB are going to do certain things in certain situations. This is the same, right? This is the same for Italy, and they've not been exposed kind of on film to the world since Tommaso took over. So game 1 Thursday morning will be that first time we see that, and they will be flying out to China, and they will have flown out to China with the intention of knocking people off the pedestals, because you have to.
Yeah, right.
You really have to.
And am I right in saying as well? This is just kind of coming off the top of my head, but do they still have the coach from the NFL? I want to say it's the Browns or something that they had a coach from last year.
I've no idea.
Just a little anecdote. Maybe the listeners can double check me that one on me. I'm sure there was
someone will name check you. I'm sure.
Yeah, a female coach from, I want to say the Browns was on the Italian coaching staff, at least last year. Maybe they're not. That was just a thought that kind of came fluttering into my head, and it's gone again. But
love that.
Anyways, good luck Italy.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess as we move out the group, that brings us to our home team, not the home team, but our home team, Team GB, the reigning European champions. That'll be on the line, the championship belt, very soon at Euroflag. Yeah, a lot we've obviously spoken about previously in with GB. Obviously, Jack Reed as our new head coach. He was on the touchline under Dean last year, and obviously a change in the staff as well, with Markey joining on DC, and we've got Paul in from Australia, working with the offense as well as the rest of the staff out there. I guess the biggest change, the most noticeable change, will be Jess Allen moving up to QB and seeing how the offense works, both in a new system with a new signal caller and also a brand new defense. Like this, it's unusual as kind of the home team podcast to be like this. I have no idea. I've got no idea what's about to happen. But what I do know is they have put the work in.
Yes, absolutely.
And obviously you've been present documenting and recording at camps. So obviously, without giving away anything to opposing scouts that happen to be listening with 24 hours out from a game, what's it been like this kind of the last little while?
Yeah, I think so. I've unfortunately not been able to be around the team as much as I would have liked to this year. But in the couple of camps that I went to, even going back to the first camp of the year, way back at the start of the year, when it was an open trial, we were starting from point number 1 again. There was no gold team at the time. Everyone was back to square one. And seeing the enthusiasm then kind of already got me excited. To see the amount of people that went along was fantastic. But you mentioned Markey. He caught my attention immediately, where after doing some drills and doing some tests, I think it was towards the end of day 1, he gathered everyone round and set the tone then, kind of vocally. I think he told everyone that, like, just a reminder of the goal. And the goal was like to represent the country on the biggest stage. And he was talking like European Championships, obviously, World Games where we are today, going into the Olympics, and he called it out. It was like, this is about reaching the Olympics. And I think the team have carried that hunger all the way throughout. They have, like, the players who are returning and the coaches who are returning know that we were an incomplete pass away from beating Japan, who went on to win a bronze medal. We were 1 point away from beating Canada. This is a team who somehow are 5th in the world and not happy about it, and are improving everywhere they can since then. And I think they have. I think Markey is bringing not only his experience from coaching in Panama and playing for Panama in the past, he's bringing an energy to the defense that everyone is responding to. I think Jack has had ideas on how he wants to evolve the offense, not just kind of starting from scratch. He's moving from OC into HC, so he's not, coming in brand new. He has, like, obviously all the experience that we've talked about him having before. I'm really excited about this team. And yes, we are homers, and yes, we have people who we're friends with and have been to these camps and whatever. But this team, like, I'm really excited about this team. I feel like we're building and building in every way that we need to build, and to come in 5th and know, like, we're better than that, 5th in the world, and to say that we're better than that, and to be confident in that statement is so exciting. So looking ahead and knowing that we have the likes of Italy, who we've played so many times, I think we played them every tournament for the last several years. We've played them. We then play Japan, who have this creativity that we're all really interested in and excited by, but we know that we had them too. And then we got Mexico. And it's like, why not Mexico too? Like, this isn't, we can take Japan and we'll see what happens against Mexico. We're going in with confidence against everyone. And I'm so hyped for it.
Got that.
Clip
that. Yeah, and I fully agree. And there was this incredible, like, the reel that Baffy put out the other day, and the media team out there put out the other day, where it was just Marky wandering around shouting at people, "Effort is free.
Effort is free."
And like that.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And like I feel like I shouldn't, like, I've been around sport and coaching and performance squads long enough that, like, that shit shouldn't resonate with me anymore.
Right.
But it just does. Like, it just does. Like, that whole, someone tapping into the fact that, like, you choose every day how to perform at whatever you do. Work, sport, like raising your kids, whatever. You choose if you're going to bring it or not on any given day. Like you say, like, speaking to yourself and speaking to people that have been at camps and people that have made the team, and like the amazing kind of access that people have given us, there is something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it is, but I am bought into this team.
Yeah.
In a way.
And this is a team that
like every time before a tournament, I do this.
Yes.
Like, and it just feels like before Limerick, they came in as previous silver medalists, and I was like, right, we're going for. And I will never forget on the Before You Go podcast with Kelly. Kelly said, "I'll bring you back a gold medal," and I was like, "You just do your best, and that's all anyone can ever ask for." And then 2 weeks later, she came back on with a gold medal. And you look at the Worlds last year, and like you say, not psyched. 5th in the world, not psyched, not good enough. Like,
what an attitude to have.
Fifth in the world ranking, 7th in the tournament, not good enough. Right, we are better than that. And yeah, I think that the IFAF preview, they said, like, yeah, the incomplete pass and a heartbreaking loss, and like, yeah, against Japan, like, yeah, but they have turned that around to counting down the days. I know. Counting down the days. As soon as the groups came out, counting down the days, like, we'll get that one back. We want a crack at them. And like you say, I think, if, like, kind of as we were alluding to with the USA, and this goes for all teams in the tournament, if you are going to topple the top two and break their chokehold on the gold medal match, the first step is believing that you can. Like, and it's the same in every level of football. I think in the National Flag Football League, we're probably not in our division. We're probably not very good at it. We just go, Glasgow, they win everything. We'll have a bash when we get to them, right? Because I think in the WFFL for so long, teams would do the best they absolutely could in the final, but the Coventry Cougars were on a run, and it took the Panthers last year, and now they're all teammates, to be like, no, like, we will get them, and we will do it on finals day. And I think if anyone's going to get by top two in the world, you have to think that. And if you're going to win a medal at this championships, you will have to beat one of them.
Yeah.
You may have to beat one of them twice or beat both of them. So,
and we're at a point now where, because like we were saying, this hunger has always been there. Like bronze at the European Championships, silver at the European Championships. We are, as we record this podcast, reigning European champions.
Never gets old.
And then unsatisfied with 5th in the world. And when you look at the team now, they are confidently saying, like, not we could get some wins and it would be nice to play we want to beat Mexico in the preliminary round of this, and it's not a crazy thought.
Yeah.
This is a team who they've been stacking year on year, getting better and better. We have experience now within the team. We have youth on the team. We have some people who are built for this and have been building towards this for years, with fresh faces who are ready to go as well, winning national championships up back home, and then going on like incredible bonding trips over to Boston and winning a bunch of rings over there. Like, I don't think we've had a team as ready as this team is.
Oh, agreed.
They feel like it. Like, they, even just going to the camp, which was a few months ago at this point, even then, I felt like the intensity was high, but not even in like a nasty way. Like, they were still a bonded team, getting better every day. Marky's shouting at them and then smiling afterwards, and they're all after it as well. And I'm just so hyped for this team that I was joking earlier on that I'm not happy about getting up for the alarm. I think I'm gonna be awake, waiting for these games at 2 a.m.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, like you've interviewed a lot of them. We've met a lot of them in person. We've covered the WFFL finals and all that. We know a lot of these people personally. That just adds to it. Like, we're homers, not ashamed of it. We're gonna be well awake, supporting them from all the way over here. It's just, really excited about this team on a personal level. But even when you look at it on just the numbers and just the analytical football level, really exciting team. Really exciting team.
I think it was Copenhagen Bowl shared something that we'd been posting in the build-up and was like, very politely of them, very nicely of them, and like very grateful to them, saying like, guys, get over to the show and follow our coverage and stuff. And I think there was a line that was like, they are GB biased, but that's okay. And I just replied being like, 100%.
Yeah, no, can't hide it.
Won't hide it, can't hide it. But we'll do our best to hide it a little bit as we move on to Japan. Obviously a team under a brand new head coach, a very talented quarterback, Asian Oceania Continental Champions, 5th at the World Games last time, 5th in the 2021 World Champions, bronze medalists in that game that we spoke about earlier on against Austria. And the eyes of the flag football world very much on Japan, because their style of play and how joyfully they play, has inspired like the whole flag football community, really.
100%. Could not agree more. They have such a creative offense that everyone is trying to steal from, but they have like, even when they're in a huddle, they kind of have like a cool little hand clap that they all do. They're a team that, like, at first glance, they're all quite small, they're all quite young, and then they start playing. And it's like, oh yeah, okay. This is a team that have a different edge about them in a way that other teams don't. Like, the other teams try and get by with an edge of like, we're kind of angry and we're going to get after you. They are having fun while they run this stupidest, most complicated triple handoff play and then running it down your throat. They're a great team. What's great coming in here is, as we've mentioned, with how close the game with GB was, is that this is going to be one creative play away from, is it one play away from dropping down and losing to the likes of Italy or Great Britain, or are they going to take that extra step and come out with that creative play that beats Mexico? So they are, they're
Yes.
a fun team to watch.
Yeah, so the game against Mexico, the World Championships. It was a semi-final. Mexico went on to win. Mexico took silver. We'll come on to them in a minute. But 9-point game, 9-point game there. And Japan and Britain obviously 1-score game. So yeah, I think there's a lot here to unpack with Japan. And I think you were saying earlier on, their quarterback plays her football in Kansas at college. So she is scholarship college flag footballer.
Yep.
Not sure how many of the others play outside Japan, but yeah, like I don't think I've ever seen a single nation like collectively grip kind of the way they play football grips the UK flag community since I think we were first starting and everyone was trying to kind of roll with the kind of the old Denmark playbook that they used to run, and that was simple but lethal. And now we've almost gone the other way of like how many people can touch the ball, you don't know which one it is, and all 5 of them are open. And like you say, it's ruthless with a smile, and I dig it. I really do.
Yeah.
It's
they
going
play,
to literally keep me up at night.
Yeah, they play a version of the sport that I feel like is going to be more familiar in 5 years. That a lot of teams are going to take these things that a lot of teams do now with multiple quarterbacks, but it's Japan are introducing multiple handoffs, multiple motions. Like they're getting incredibly creative with the rules, so that it's not just like we're just running like contact plays in like a flag outfit. Like they're running things that are brand new, and it's great to watch as a spectator. I imagine it's a pain in the ass to try and scheme against and defend against, but they're bringing an element of intrigue every time, and having at least a little bit of familiarity with them now. And like you mentioned, a brand new head coach. Is the scheme going to change? Are they still going to be the same? You imagine they're not going to bin their playbook completely, but you know that all the other countries are starting to catch on. So how they continue to bluff and play the hand, this amazing chess game that kind of can happen now, really comes into play with them.
What's crazy about that is like of all the teams that probably can scheme against that, Mexico, right? Because they've been running around with handoffs and fakes and playing multiple quarterbacks.
Yeah. Inspiration,
for as long as I can remember ever seeing Mexico matches. Both, even some of the, when Gary and Mike kind of, sit down by the fire and, gather around children for story time and they start talking about the World Championships in the Bahamas and stuff. Like what they've always done. It's what they've always done, Centers chucking the ball around, like the don't do that. We only want to touch the ball once.
Definitely do that. Definitely.
So I'm very intrigued by this Japan side because they've built such a pedigree. They've become so inspiring to so many, and they've got another year of playing abroad in an American system. They've got a new head coach, not new to the sport, but a new first time in that role, and another team. Again, they are probably the other way from GB, being like, okay, that was 1 point, but they probably look at that and go,
absolutely, yeah,
could have been 10, right? From their perspective, and they're probably looking at Mexico being like, okay, 9-point game, you break that pass up, okay, you break that one up, and okay, now we're winning. Like,
they're very similar to GB in that they've been stacking wins. Like they've done well they've played in the World Games before to begin with, but they are, as GB are European champions, they are reigning Asia Oceania continental champions with a world bronze medal, and I'll bet that they're not satisfied with that either. So this kind of middle ground. If you put USA, number one, and as we were talking about, the brand new China or potentially down the bottom, this middle of the pack in both groups is a real dogfight. And when they bring that level of intrigue and fun to it as well, just yeah, always one to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And I very interested in how this goes. Very interested in how this goes. Which, yes, obviously brings us on to one of your favorite teams and one of your favorite players in
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Indiana Flores and Mexico, defending champions, haven't had it so hot ever since, particularly against the States. So yeah, I think if you embarrass the States at a tournament that they are hosting and beat them by 30, they remember.
Unbelievable.
So the most recent game they played, obviously, was that in major tournaments, was that World Championship final last year, 31-18 to the USA, and that wasn't really a score that flattered either. That was the USA took control of that game early and never really get it up.
Yeah. There was a moment in the second half when they put on a nice run, a really nice couple of drives, if I remember right, but it wasn't the game that we were hoping for, maybe. Just in who we were rooting for based on, like, the world games of 2022 and stuff, but very clearly in the top two in the world, Mexico, at least in recent bias. And it's actually crazy to think that their win against the USA was 3 years ago. It feels like it wasn't that long ago, and yet also so long ago. And to see how far the sport has grown even since then is insane. I think, like, not to go completely off topic, but I think we've spoken about it before of just how important that win was in Birmingham for flag football as a sport. It showed the world that it was not just the USA alone. Like, there was someone else who could threaten it. And I would say, if there's one point in all of flag's history that created an opportunity for it to be in the Olympics, that was the game. And the Olympics would have been in discussions long before that game happened. But if anything solidified flag football's place in tournaments like the World Games and the Olympics, it was, and they will have been carrying that ever since, knowing that they were worthy champions that year. Was not a close game. If you go back and watch that game,
it was not a close game.
Blowout game. And somehow they've been, they are second to the USA ever since. They probably, unfortunately, unleashed a weapon in the USA. Somehow the USA have gotten more powerful because they lost that game. But Mexico are, I know just from seeing them at the World Games at the World Championships last year, how much of a professional unit they look. Like, we were talking about the USA and how they are kind of professional in everything but name of being actual professions. They are exactly the same. We were laughing. You texted me the other day showing that they had like a presser before getting on the plane to
unbelievable,
to
and not
China.
and not in front of like 4 people either. It was like a packed gantry
news
of
cameras
press
and everything.
Like,
they have all of the kit. They have 5 different colors of kit. They have their personalized backpacks. They're all wearing their Oakleys. They absolutely look the business. And when they step on the field, you get it. You're like, okay, this is not just for show. This is not just flash. You feel
that
like
kind of thing. Like, it's the same, and it's the same with the States. Like, it's like, like in the movies when it's a sports movie and like the other team arrive and they're the baddies and they're like the overwhelming favorites, and they walk in and like the music plays and they just look the part. And it's like, it's psychological, right? It's like you look at them and you'd be like, like, we've got different color shorts on. Like, the game's half lost and they've not even taken their jackets off yet. And it's like, but they, like you say, they have and continue to back that up
every single time,
except since they've let off that unbelievable scoring spree in Birmingham. I agree, and it's something that obviously you and I spoke about online before, as you said. if the USA win that game, I don't know how seriously the sport gets taken in the halls of power outside of flag football if it is just we play these tournaments and America wins. It's like the old football saying, like 22 guys kick a ball about on a pitch, and at the end of the day, Germany win.
Yeah.
It's that thing in flag football, like, there's 10 people on the pitch and we play flag football, and at the end of the day, the USA are the world champions. That gold medal.
They introduced, what they
that
introduced
gold medal
was that,
introduces doubt, and it introduces that it can be done, and it introduces that it has been done in like the modern era, the post-COVID modern era, and it's cool. Now, Now, it would be really hard to say, I'm going to put a mortgage payment on them to beat the USA in a 1-on-1 match. But this is a 1-on-1 match, like on the other side of the world, in mad humidity, in mad heat. And if they play each other, I'm going to watch it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That win changed this sport in so many ways. It put Diana Flores on the map. She's now the face of the sport in many ways. There's been a Super Bowl commercial, and this game only happened 3 years ago. That's what I was saying. Like, it's the way that this has gone and since then is crazy. And there's only two returning players from the USA from back then. Like, they've completely transformed their team. They've got more weapons than ever before. So while this is in some ways it's a rematch, but this is them just meeting up again. Every year they're going to meet up and like.
And it's a very cool, right? Because we're thinking that we're going to get it twice this year. I am assuming, barring an upset, and in a couple of weeks over BAFA finals weekend.
Yeah. Also, yes.
Right? Also, yes. Right. Over BAFA finals weekend. Who scheduled that? Right. Does IFAF not pay attention? Do they not pay attention to our domestic league? You assume at some point they're going to meet there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. They've got players all over. There's a little bit of change on the team, but a lot of just stalwarts who are back.
First year head coach.
Already mentioned. Was it? Oh, it is. You're right. Yeah, it is.
First year head coach.
So we have
as well.
We have Flores back. I think Sylvia Contreras is back. They do a lot of 2QB stuff. Like, they're as dynamic as ever. But yeah, that's a good point. What does the new head coach bring? That does he bring a gold medal at the World Games? Who knows?
Yeah, because what if this is just like, what if this is the USA like bogey tournament for whatever reason? Like, if Mexico win again, it's like, what do you have to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if they win it again and beat America in the final or at any other point in this tournament? And it's like, at that point, like, is it in your head? Like, what do you have to do to win it?
Like you say, there's not like we're obviously hoping for different results, but this just feels like a collision course again between the USA and Mexico. And I don't think anyone as neutral fans of the sport is disappointed by that yet. Because it's still a great game every time. We would love to see, maybe, I'd be okay with Japan getting in. We obviously want GB to get in. But just based on the history of these two teams, this just feels...
It is like the original flag football rivalry, right? Like,
absolutely,
it is the... And interesting for Mexico as well, we go back, last 5 games, defeat Canada twice, beat Japan once, lost to the States. So, again, 2021 World Championships, second place to America. 2022 World Games, win over America. 2023 Americas, second place to America. 2024, second place to America. 2025 World.
Yeah. And I want to say there was a game, not a tournament-based game. I'm sure they did the rematch, I think it was called.
They did the rematch after the World Championships in America won that.
Yeah, and they played that as well. So just always familiar with each other, always expecting each other. Yeah, will it happen again? We will see.
We'll see. Very, very excited. Yeah, that is your preview of all 8 teams at the World Games. There's going to be a little game going out on tomorrow, which will be Wednesday, definitely by now, UK time. We think we have filled in the last meeting of all of these teams, so we'll share that graphic with you tomorrow. And if there's a gap that can be filled, please fill it out. And yeah, other than that, we will see you early in the morning on Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. We don't know yet, but I'm going to go ahead and say probably early in the morning too, because I think the latest
Gonna
games
be there the whole
the
time.
very latest games are not till the back of 9, so most of them are overnight. So yeah, very much looking forward to that. So game 1, the World Games, will be on at 2 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, USA versus Canada, immediately then followed by China versus Austria, and then our main event at 4:20. We'll see you in the group chat as Great Britain take on Italy before 7:30 in the morning. This will be a good one. Mexico versus Japan, followed up by USA, Austria, and then Canada, China to round out day 1. So there are some absolute bangers on day 1. Outside of Britain, Italy, which is the one we're looking forward to, Mexico, Japan, you can inject that into my veins immediately and with zero regard for dosage. Just get that one straight in. And then, yes, on Friday morning, GB are in action at 2 a.m. That's the first game of the day. So you can decide if you're going to stay up or try and wake up. Followed by Mexico versus Italy and Canada versus Austria. And then as the sun starts to rise here in the UK, we're going to have USA, China before at 8:40. So one to have with your porridge, GB versus Mexico. And then the group games will round out with Japan versus Italy. And that will be your Friday. If they're from there, over the weekend, we'll have knockouts and placement games. And before crowning a champion early mid-morning, probably on Sunday. It's going to be an absolute ripper.
I'm so excited. I'm really excited. Just for watching stuff in the middle of the night on my computer, this is way too exciting.
I have completely destroyed like what day it is in my own brain. Like the countdown has been going, but because we started the 5-day countdown on a Saturday, a whole week's been thrown, and like I know I'm going to be kind of paying attention. Yeah, the countdown is almost over. Tomorrow will be 24 hours to go. I think as Andy and I sit here, there is 27 hours and 8 minutes until the first kickoff between the USA and Canada. So you can work out what time we're recording this at. But yeah, Andy, thank you so much for jumping on with me.
Thank you very much. And can we be homers for just
yes.
one more minute?
Hit it.
I don't know if you guys are, or I don't know if you'll be able to hear this over there in China, but if you are, the just unbelievable best of luck. We hope that you're having the greatest time over there. It looks like an absolute blast. We're going to be up with you in the middle of the night here. Please enjoy every minute of it and go get them. We're so behind you. I'm so excited. Show the world what you have, because we know that you're ready for it. Oh, I don't even know how to say this properly, but yeah, so excited for all of you to be there. Get after it. We'll love you all. Go Team GB, go GB.
And that is the way we HNC it. Thank you very much for listening. We will see you during the World Games. Have a fantastic week. Goodbye.